Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the equipment that we're going to use in our Gatorade lab to figure out how much blue dye number 1 there is in the Gatorade. So this is the spectrophotometer that I'm going to use. So this is one of the vernier products that we're going to access through Logger Pro. So it's just going to, through a USB cable, we're just going to be able to plug this thing in. When you look at this, you're going to see a little opening. This thing has inside of it, it has a lamp and it has a detector that's able to detect light at very particular wavelengths. So when my lamp shines, it's going to have lots of wavelengths of light that are going to be coming out of that lamp. And then the detector is going to be able to understand not only how much light is it seeing, but what wavelengths of light am I seeing at high and low intensities. So what we're going to do is I have these little pieces of plastic. These are just little plastic containers. They are 1 centimeter. This is kind of an industry standard. They are 1 centimeter across. They're called cuvettes with a V. So I have my cuvette. And what I do is I fill the cuvette with some sample, and then I plunk it inside of this thing here. And when the light from the lamp shines and goes into the sample that's in here, some of that light is going to get absorbed. If you remember anything that maybe you've learned previously about blue solutions, a blue solution is predominantly going to absorb red light. And we're going to be highly interested in seeing how much red light is absorbed as the light tries to pass through before it gets to the detector. All right, so you're going to hear me on a different video where I'm going to instead do a screencast of what my screen looks like. You're going to hear me talking about a few things. So first of all, these are always going to need a background. So the background is kind of your baseline, how much light is getting to my detector from the lamp when I don't have any sample in there. And we want that to be as accurate as possible. So this is the first thing that's going to happen, is that we're going to have to let the light bulb heat up for a little bit. Just takes a couple minutes. But the light bulb is initially going to be slightly cooler as it turns on, and it's going to put out slightly different light than if we let it kind of heat up for a little while and get warmer. So first you got to let the lamp heat up so that you're getting a constant amount of light going to your detector. Then what you're going to do is we're going to fill my cuvette with water. And the reason why I'm selecting water is that that is predominantly what is making up my Gatorade, right? Yeah, there's sugar in here and there's some dye and all of that, but it's predominantly water. And so I'm going to try to match that with my sample here. So if you look carefully at a cuvette, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a side that's very easy and transparent, very clear, and then there's a side that's frosted. Okay, so there's the frosted side you're looking through, and here's the transparent side. So we want to make sure that we're putting the correct transparent side into my spectrophotometer here. And so what I'm doing is I'm holding it on the frosted side. There's also a little line up here that shows you how high you should fill this up. I think it's something on the order for these guys of maybe like 2 to 3 milliliters or so. And then what I'm doing, it's good practice, I'm taking a Kim wipe here and I'm wiping down the clear side so that I really make sure that I don't have any fingerprints or anything like that that are going to interfere with my data. Then I'm putting my cuvette in and I'm aligning it with, I don't want to spill the water on my laptop here, but remember there's the direction from the white arrow to the little lamp. This is just showing me which way to orient the cuvette when I pop it into here. And then you can see that my water level right now is a little bit over the mark here, or like the plastic. So that means that all of the light is actually going through sample. Then I tell the instrument through the software, and again, you'll see this in the screencast, I'll tell the instrument, this is my baseline, how much light I expect to get out of this lamp when I'm taking a sample. So I will say, take a background, and then it'll just take a little second, and what it'll do is it'll figure out how much light it's it's getting that's coming into the detector there. All right, now I am not at all being precise in making up my solution right now. I'm just doing this to give you a little bit of a visual. So I'm gonna just put maybe like 1 or 2 drops of this blue number 1 solution in here. So I just put a little bit in there. I would never actually, if I'm really trying to be good about my experiment, I would never actually mix my solutions in a cuvette. I can be much more accurate and precise if I use different glassware. And we will be doing that as well. But I would have something that kind of looks like this. Again, I would wipe it down. And this would be the first of my samples. And then I would, after I have my background, I'm going to put this in here. Again, I'm making sure that the frosted side is not in the way, and I'm only holding it on the frosted side. And then I will tell the software, now how much light do you see? And hopefully it makes sense to you that it's going to see less light than it did before. And really, because this is a blue dye, it's going to see a lot less red light. And in the interpretation that we're going to be looking at, we are going to be looking through the lens of absorbance. And so we're going to see this peak out in the red wavelengths where it's going to say, oh, light in the red wavelengths has been absorbed now. And I will take that image, I'll screenshot it, save the data, whatever, and that will be useful for me for just how absorbing was it out in that red region there. So I think that's good for this here.